Welcome to the Education Investment Podcast. In a world where investors are looking for stable and growing long-term returns with social impact, the education sector is becoming increasingly attractive. We speak to leading educators, operators, and investors in the education sector around the world to explore this growing investment theme alongside our listeners. From preschools to K-12 schools to higher education and vocational education. From edtech to education infrastructure. From VC investors to private equity and family offices, we explore it all. I'm your host, Monde Nkosi. Education has always been a big part of my life because my mother founded a school which was across the road from our home. I have benefited from excellent schools and teachers in South Africa and the US. I went on to study education and am now very grateful to be an investor in this sector that I love.
All opinions expressed by podcast guests are solely their own opinions. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions.
Today, I am privileged to host Pitso Mosimane and Moira Tlhagale for a conversation on football and education. We'll explore the intersection of football and education, with a particular focus on Pitso Mosimane Youth Football and its various initiatives, such as soccer schools and coaching education. We'll also discuss social impact and the exciting plans they have in the pipeline. Our guests today are a power duo in football, education, and business. Pitso Mosimane, or Coach Pitso, as I'll refer to him in the rest of today's conversation, is a football legend. He played for three of South Africa's largest teams in Jomo Cosmos, Mamelodi Sundowns, and Orlando Pirates. He then went on to play internationally for clubs in Greece, Belgium, and Qatar. He had the honor of playing for Bafana Bafana, the South African men's national team. Those who knew him during his playing days will know him by his nickname, Jingles. After hanging up his playing boots, Coach Pitso went on to become the most successful football coach to come out of South Africa. He has served as head coach of, among others, Bafana Bafana, Mamelodi Sundowns, which is South Africa's most successful club, Ahly, which is Egypt's most successful club, and more recently, several clubs in the Saudi Pro League. Coach Pitso has 21 titles to his name, including an unprecedented 3 African Champions League titles, 2 of them being back-to-back with Ahly in 2020 and 2021. And a further 2 bronze medals at the FIFA World Club Cup, putting African football on the global map. Moira Tlhagale, or MD, as I'll refer to her in the rest of today's conversation, is a successful entrepreneur. She is a quantity surveyor by profession and a construction project manager. In 2004, she founded TMTJ Consulting, and she subsequently worked on some of South Africa's most iconic developments, such as being a leader of the technical team responsible for delivering the 10 stadiums used in the 2010 FIFA Soccer World Cup, and, importantly for this conversation, being program manager in the Accelerated Schools Infrastructure Delivery Initiative, where 49 schools were built in the Eastern Cape province of South Africa. She has since expanded her entrepreneurial activities outside of quantity surveying and project management. In 2012, she founded MT Sports Marketing and Management, a sports talent management and marketing company where she currently serves as managing director. She is also the managing director of Pitso Mosimane Youth Football, where, among others, she oversees football development programs catering to over 12,000 players and 100 coaches across the country, unearthing the next generation of stars. Coach Pitso, MD Moira, it's wonderful to have you here today. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting us.
Perfect. So just to start, before we come on to football, I'd love to first learn about you individually and your journeys. So maybe MD, let me start with you. We'd love to learn a bit about your background and your family. Where did you grow up? And ultimately, what is your path into football and education?
Yes, no, thank you so much. And again, thank you for inviting us to the podcast. I am born and bred in Munsiwa Township, Mafikeng. It was part of the homelands, Bophuthatswana. We were quite lucky that during that time we were given an opportunity by the then President Mangope to go and study subjects that really our parents or black people really did not do. My initial vision was to become a lawyer, an SC. But because we didn't have money for bursaries at home, I ended up taking an opportunity from these bursaries that were given. So what they did with us initially, because obviously we did Bantu education, was to take us to a technical Mangosuthu to do what was called a pre-technicon course, because a lot of us and our parents did not have much of technical background. So with the technicon course, you had an option of either being an architect, an engineer, a surveyor, or a quantity surveyor. So after 6 months, then one would decide what to do. So I just found for myself that I was very bad at technical drawing and obviously good at mathematics. So
I would join you in that, by the way. The being bad at technical drawing.
Yes. So definitely. So based on that, then I chose to be a quantity surveyor. That's how I ended up doing that. And because also of our background, our education quality at the time, we were advised to first start with the technicon. So I've got firstly what is called a national diploma in building surveying, which is really the same as quantity surveying in university. But at the time, if you had a diploma, you could not open your own business. So you were always going to work for somebody. And that was really never my vision as a young child. So once I finished that, I then decided to go to UCT to do a BSc honors in quantity surveying. Worked as a quantity surveyor in quantity surveying firms. And to be honest, I found it quite boring because you are there sitting around just crunching numbers. It's like you are an accountant in the built industry. I then decided to change a bit and go and do more development management, because what is good with quantity surveying and the courses we do, especially at UCT, you do statistics, you do economics, you do accounting as part of additional courses. So it's really, you do marketing. It's really an overall packaged course. So I then did development management, and I worked for a company called PropNet, which was part of the Transnet group years ago. I worked for the V&A waterfront. It was one of the highlights. So if you are in the waterfront, you walk around the mall, you walk around some parking areas, BP project offices. Those were my projects that I did there. And while I was at the V&A waterfront, at some point, I just felt that, as an employee, and this is something that I tried to change in my office, to give people to have the ability to think themselves and come up with a solution. I just felt at the time for myself that, I was always being told how to skin a cat, and you can skin a cat in so many different ways. So I decided, let me just go and start my own business and see whether how I want to skin a cat will be successful or not. And that's when I started TMTJ, consulting and investment. And the rest is history.
That's wonderful. And what I love about your industry and the work that you do is you can physically see the impact of your work. You mentioned the V&A waterfront as you were talking. I'm interested also in several years after what you're referring to there is the stadiums for the 2010 FIFA Soccer World Cup. I was in one of them recently, Moses Mapita for the Chiefs Pirates final a couple of months ago. I'd love to hear how that experience was. So with the FIFA World Cup stadiums, if you remember, we were supposed to have hosted the 2005, which we lost and went to Germany, and we got the 2010.
2006.
Sorry, 2006, yes, 2006, and we got the 2010. So in 2005, a lot of South Africans went to Germany to go and understand, like a fact finding, understanding how it's done. And as a development manager for the V&A Waterfront and for PropNet, obviously I was the client representative. So I had a lot of consultants reporting to me. And it's quite interesting. One of the guys who was an architect, Leander Mpahlwa, met with Dr. Jordan in Germany. All of them just trying to find out what's happening. And Dr. Jordan said, we do need a team of consultants that will help us deliver. Remember, it was very early from our 1994. It was one of the biggest projects we had as a country, and our municipalities were not really convincing that they will be able to deliver the stadiums. So the position that we took was something that had never been done in the world. But our group of LOC technical team was to ensure that we deliver on stadiums and we help the country to deliver on stadiums. So Luyanda then said to Dr. Jordan, I do have somebody who has started a lot of things at PropNet and started from nothing, concept to delivery, and even at the V&A Waterfront. And then I was introduced to the board at the time. Dr. Koza was the chairperson of that board. And really that's how we were appointed as a team of 5 companies, with me being the leader of that team. And our main mandate, it was one, to ensure that the stadiums are delivered on time for both the Confederations Cup and the World Cup 2009-2010, because some stadiums that are for the Confederations Cup were only 5, and then for the World Cup they're 10. And then the second one was to ensure that the budget that was allocated by government for stadium construction was monitored and managed, and that the stadiums were FIFA compliant. So we had to obviously engage with FIFA in Zurich to understand what does it mean to be a FIFA compliant stadium. So I can confirm that Moses Mabhida is extra compliant. It was not necessary. Our stadiums came into this whole competition of who is the best, but really a FIFA compliant stadium is a very simple looking stadium.
Yes.
So really that was our mandate, and it's one of, I must tell you, if they say what is my claim to fame, I would say that is my claim to fame. It was a big achievement to deliver that. I was 33, I think, when I started the project. Yeah.
Sure. What a legacy.
Yeah.
And what a time to be in South Africa as well.
Yeah.
We get goosebumps thinking back to that period in 2010 FIFA World Cup. What a time to be in the country and to be that closely involved in making that event a success. Coach Pitso, if I bring it over to you, please tell us a bit about your family, your background, and your path ultimately into both football and now education.
Yeah. Thanks for having us here. Humbled. I was born we used to call it the West End at that time. I was born in an area we called Krugersdorp that time. But now those areas are called Mogale City now. So I was born in Kagiso, in the township Kagiso called. And raised there. And our family moved, I think I was 12 or 13 maybe, yeah. We moved to Soweto in Snawane. So I've got both lives. People know me from where I attended school till 13 from Kagiso. Yes, and I'm also saying I finished in Soweto. Yeah. So that's how it went. So in Skarantwane School, one of the famous schools in terms of football. You know, if you talk, I don't know how to say it. If you speak about in basketball, you know, the Duke is one of the colleges with Coach K there. You know that many players come from the Duke or South Carolina, where you find Michael Jordan and all that. So Skarantwane was one of those high schools that many professional football players came from the school, and had a good alumni also of even politicians, President Ramaphosa from the Minister Angie Motshekga. We can mention many legends. Sello Moloko is also this man. So a lot of alumni. Football wise, many players from Mike Soka to Wellington Manyati. Even AC Mnini was from Eskan Antoine. I heard so, right? And then I played football in the school, but I also played in the township also. I played for a club called Rockville Hungry Lions.
Yes.
So the players from Rockville Hungry Lions, they are the ones who recruited me from school, because at school we had everybody from Shawelo, Mapetla, Piri, Snawani, and Rockville. So the school was that kind of a school that attracted everybody in it, and it was famous school. So in Soweto. But I just went accidentally to the school because we lived in Snawani and was just closer.
Okay.
I didn't choose the school. It was a school that is close for me, close to my home. So, so because at school we played football, and most of the players who were playing football at school played football in the community. But the football in the community was also very strong. Rockville Hungry Lions also has got its own legends. Percy Chipa Moloi, the father of the Moloi, legend in football.
Yes.
Big Boy Kulwane, who used to play for Pirates. A lot of players came from Rockville Hungry Lions. If you look at the history, it's unbelievable. It's a big history. And at that time, remember, we didn't have the setup that we have now with academies, clubs having academies and all that. No, that time, if you are good at high school, you go direct to the Premier League. You know, like basketball, where you go direct to play some, like LeBron, and then they went direct to NBA. So was the same thing. We went direct, but we used to play with other schools that top talent, like Orlando High. You found Zero Mohale playing for Pirates every weekend on the TV, on newspapers, but still a school. Rolando Mokwena dead, KQ Sono. You go see Max Maponyane in Midlands, Obrima Khobe. You would find that in the weekend, about 12 to 13 players who were still at school, in high school, but playing in the Premier League. So you could see the age at 18, 19, then that's the entry time for football, and you're still at high school doing your grade 12s. So we used to have stars in school.
Yes.
And look at the guy scored a goal in the Soweto Derby. And
he's at school.
And he's at school. You just imagine when he comes on Monday, how it is. But that's my part from there. And then from school, I was recruited by Jomo Sono. He saw me playing football in the school. He saw me playing football in the school. No, he was coming to scout at the schools. And then fortunately, that team of ours, Rockville Hungry Lions, we played something called like a Nedbank Cup that time. Now it's branded Nedbank Cup.
Across multiple tiers.
Yes. Then our team, Rockville Hungry Lions, was a great team. So I was playing in the first division, not Premier League, in the first division, whilst I was doing grade 10.
Wow.
Yes, because we were too early at that time.
So you've only just moved at that time from Kagiso. How did they take you as now? And who's this boy from Kagiso now?
From school. And funny enough, between grade 9 and grade 10, I didn't play football in the clubs because I had to focus on my metric. My parents says, no, you've got to pass metric, at least pass metric.
Yes.
So, and Jomo came earlier before I start metric. And they told him, no, wait for him. Let him just have metric so that he can have something, support after football. So then we played, just luckily we played Orlando Pirates. Jomo was playing for Orlando Pirates. We played Orlando Pirates as Rockville Hungry Lions.
Yes.
So now we're playing the players that we played during the week, they're playing there. And also, it's a big club, Orlando Pirates.
Yes.
But also, we're also playing for Rockville Hungry Lions from the schools, you see. So the school part was strong at that time. School football was so strong, unbelievable. So it was a small circle. If you are good at school, they know you at the Premier League. So school football was strong. So then that's how I was scouted. In fact, I was scouted on the pitch, playing against Jomo. Jomo tells me, says, hey, I'm going to have my own club. You must come play for my own club next year. And I don't understand. I said, is it just chatting me as we're playing or what? And we are opponents.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's how we started. And then he says, where do you go to school? I says, Kanandwane. Then they started following and all that. So sometimes Wednesday, he used to come park his BMW there. And you must understand this Jomo. Yes. Coming to a school, sometimes he embarrassed me. He just pops up at the school. And now even the teachers will say, hey, Jomo Sono is here. You must remember they support Pirates and he's a legend, right?
Yes.
So, and then I used to be shy to say, hey, this he's embarrassing me. Why he comes here? All the children will mob the car. And the teachers and and I'm the one there at the back. I said, no, man, he should not be here. It put so much pressure and stress on me.
Yes.
And to cut the long story short, then I joined Jomo Cosmos after. He followed up. I joined Jomo Cosmos. Him and Stagrima Chabalala followed me. Then they followed me. Then I joined Jomo Cosmos. That's where my professional football started. After I finished my metric, and so I joined Jomo Cosmos, and my debut was against Orlando Pirates in Orlando Stadium.
Wow,
the old Orlando Stadium.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was nervous. That's how we started. Then, the history is long. Then played football for Pirates. Then the first group to form Mamelodi Sundowns. Mamelodi Sundowns was a team that was going up and down the Premier League. In fact, the strongest team was Mamelodi United that people don't know about. That one was in the Premier League all the time. But Mamelodi Sundowns was up and down, getting relegated and all that. But just imagine, a small township, Mamelodi, had two teams in the Premier League at one stage, but it's the same. Soweto had three.
Soweto, yes.
Had Orlando Pirates, had Chiefs, and Morocco Swallows. And those are the three biggest teams in the country, to be honest. So, township football was strong, school football was strong. So, then I went to Sundowns. Zola Mahobe brought all the so-called stars, the big name players. And he bought many players. I'm one of those guys that he bought in the Premier League. So Jomo Cosmos sold me to Mamelodi Sundowns. Within 2 years, we won the first major trophy with Mamelodi. In fact, within a year. We faced the first major trophy with Mamelodi Sundowns called Men's Day Cup.
Yes.
So we played in that cup, and that was how Mamelodi Sundowns became strong. It's long time. Mamelodi Sundowns had good players. And, that's where, the coach was then Skrima Chabalala because he was with me at Cosmos. So he says, come along. So we played there and, he went to Italy himself and on some courses, football coaching courses. And then he came back. He says the Italians are the same shoeshine and piano. So I'm not sure about piano, but Then he came with that, and it's famously known as shoeshine piano.
Yes.
And what was shoeshine and piano was like ball possession.
Yes.
So Basa, we call it tiki-taka.
Yes.
Keep the ball, keep moving it and keep shifting the opponents. So he started that. He was the master of this. Hence, Sundowns, Mamelodi Sundowns is still playing the same way. The culture comes from there, not from me. It comes from there. And then Ted Dimitri also kept it at Mamelodi Sundowns. That's the history of Sundowns. So after playing there, went back to Cosmos, went overseas in Greece, and I went to Qatar, and I played in Belgium.
And this is Qatar before it was popular in the last 5 years.
Nobody knew that Qatar at that time. But, when I was in Qatar, I was replaced by the famous Romario.
Wow.
Yes. They just told me straight, sorry, Romario is coming. And we have 3-4 in space, and you are striker and Romario is striker. Romario come from Barca.
Yes. You remember the
you can't. So I had to pave way for Romario.
Wow.
Yes. But, I was happy to pave way for Romario.
It's an extraordinary trailblazing path, Coach. And there's so much more. I know you're glossing over, there's so much detail in each of those we could go into.
Yeah.
The one that I'm very keen to touch on, is, there's the saying that if someone is in the shade today, it's because someone planted a tree a long time ago.
Okay.
You touched on who unearthed your talent, who was Jomo Cosmos, and who gave you a chance and played a big role in your career. And we've seen you also in your career pass that on to others as well. We've seen Rulani come through under your hand and now doing amazing things in football. So I'm interested in a question to you both on this topic of unearthing talent, which is something that you do a lot of today. So how has your journey informed how you go about with these youngsters today, unearthing that talent?
Yeah. So, as I said earlier, that my qualification, I'm a quantity surveyor, construction project manager, and parallel to that, I was helping Coach Pitso to manage him, help him with all the contracts that he was doing with teams as he joined them. And not necessarily that I'm a lawyer, but as a quantity surveyor, you are a contracts manager anyway. So we did do some law courses at UCT, but most of the time one would obviously bring a lawyer in it. And so I then formed a company called Empty Sports to be more structured when I do negotiations or when companies want him to come in or do ambassadorial project or let's say or ads. So that's how Empty Sports was formed. Mm-hmm. But for the longest of time, he was always talking about wanting to create a player of tomorrow. It's so interesting that is our tagline now. And it's not that we went to a marketing company and said, help us, this is what we want to do. No, it was the words that he kept on saying when he was just sharing with me to say, in future, I want to improve South African soccer, create a player of tomorrow. So what we did when the construction industry went down, I was then able to find time to try and say, let me focus on his legacy and try and build this vision that he's always had. So so the first question really I asked myself is, the vision that he had in creating a player of tomorrow is that he always said, you've got to start with the children from a very young age and start them and make sure that they have a proper technique of the game. And I think it's given the fact that with all his travelings, he's been able to see what South Africa has and all other countries, including playing with other nations as a Bafana Bafana coach. Yes. So for me, it was now, how do we translate this into reality? And the first thing I said, we have to start with children. So, how do we, where are the children? The children are in schools, right? But the firstly after that was to say, how do we do this? Let me first understand the athletes that have been very good in their spaces and not necessarily football. How have they done it? So we then did a proper research, got a researcher to look at tennis, the Williams sisters, Tiger Woods, the Bokke, our own rugby team, All Blacks rugby team in New Zealand, Lewis Hamilton, the driver, and then we looked at obviously Barcelona and Ajax to say, how do they do it? So we had a variety of different sports, and the sum total of the findings of the research was that They start from a very young age, focusing on technique and putting the 10,000 hours. As simple as that. So for us, with the creation of Player of Tomorrow, coach, when I asked him, what do you mean? He says, I want somebody who's educated. I want somebody who is socially adequate, and somebody who has got the right technique of soccer that can compete at the highest level. So basically that's that. So in the process of understanding that this is what we want to do, and this is those that have been able to succeed in sports have done, we then said we then need to be dealing with young children. Where are the children? Mostly in schools. What types of schools do we have in this country? We've got public and private. So we went on a path of looking at the public schools primarily because football is an African sport, right? And it is important that we make sure that African children get that opportunity properly and the proper foundation. And I mean, we all know with government, it is quite complicated to navigate through. And then one day I was sitting and I remembered some of my nephews and nieces go to a school called Curo. So I went in to do more research about Curo and realized that they've got a sort of 4 different levels also in Curo. You know, they've got Curo Meridian Academy, which you find in the township. And then they've got Curo Independent and Curo Select, which is sort of more competing with your higher private schools. Yes. So, and I thought, wow, these 2 bottom ones, I think is what we can deal with in the meantime. Because, you know, one of the key things for me is, you know, it's one thing to talk, I want to, but we got to deliver, and we set that timeline. So in this, I pushed to get a meeting with the Curo CEO. Then went there just with not even a pen, with my handbag. Got there and said, this is what I think we can do together with Coach Pitso. I think what helps in this conversation is he has made his name. Yes. He has worked hard. He has proven that he is a success. So when you come up with a proper structured project to anybody, it's not a difficult sell. I wouldn't say, you know, I think he helped with that, with his brand. So they loved the idea really. And we said, let us start first with, you know, 2 schools. And then we started with 2 schools in 2023. And then they gave us 10 more in 25. And then they gave us another 6 more. So we're sitting at about 19 schools. But the key thing out of what we're doing, I think, is that what is it that we're doing that is important in us creating the player of tomorrow? In what we call within the schools, Pitso Mosimane soccer schools, is that a lot of schools, especially in the public schools, we don't have physical education anymore. And physical education by the Department of Education is actually a part of the curriculum that needs to be done. So with Curo, we said, let's start also with the physical education. So we do that. And also we do the extramural activities. So we start with the grade R's. And importantly, with Coach Pitso and his technical team of coaches that we have, we've been able to develop an age-appropriate curriculum for the school, that we know that a grade R child cannot do what a grade 7 is doing, because we look at all the combinations of making sure that their physicality is accommodated. I mean, you'll see a grade R, it's all about jumping, fun, running.
And the cognitive development.
100%. So the program is very different for all. So
I have a 3-year-old daughter who goes to soccer twice a week, but she's not at your school. So I'll make your mental note that I need to shift.
100%. Yeah. So, you know, just in summary, the impact of our year 1 with these 2 schools that we had, the teachers, the parents just confirmed just change in attitude, even in academics of the children, because of the sports that we introduced in the Curo schools during the physical education and obviously extramural activities. So really, this is the vision that we had of okay, creating a player of tomorrow, we started with schools. Then we got a lot of people saying, but not all our kids are going to Kiro now. Right? So we then thought, okay, let's now create Pitso Mosimane football clubs where children from any environment closer to our location can come. But importantly, I think the vision is to have more of our clubs also in the township. We've got one in Mamelodi. In fact, last year we had a tournament of all our football clubs. Mamelodi topped them. Wow. They got 3 out of 5. So we're quite happy with that location because we were able to negotiate and get a list from the municipality. And then we've got Boxback and we've got in Rodiport, and we are using school facilities to have this. Last year already we had about 400 children in our books. We had about 19 clubs, and from age under 7 to under 15. So we've got the football club, and that is running. We can do more, but I just also believe in just creating something step by step, because sometimes if you grow too quickly, you don't get the model properly.
Get the foundations in place and grow from a strong foundation.
And as the MD of the company, I've got 2 big deliverables for this year. It is the manual for coach. He's writing a youth football manual, the how to coach child age appropriately. So it's one thing that our coaches, 100 coaches, have got the privilege of being trained and mentored by a computer. But what we're saying is, let's have a book then that can be shared with the whole of the world, firstly. But importantly, firstly, start here at home. So as the MD, I've got a mandate to deliver the book by end of September, and I can confirm it will be delivered. And then the other mandate is to come up with an academy. So it's so funny that in South Africa, or generally here at home, we use the word academy very loosely. But in terms of SAFA constitution, when you say I'm an academy, you have to be a football club that has got a school attached to it. Like Mamelodi Sundowns, or School of Excellence, for example. That is an academy because you've got school and then you've got football in it. So we are looking for a boarding school that has got both good education, and also a football where we'll train children. The vision obviously is to start these kids as young as possible, understanding also that you can't have a 10-year-old specializing in football, but you can create environments within that community that ensures that they are multifaceted, but you grow them properly as they come up. So with the vision, I will firstly start with a high school, and then and see as we go forward. And so that definitely I would hope also next year, January, one would announce that yes, we have found a school. Depending on how we find the school and how much work needs to be done, I definitely can say for certainty that in 2027 the school will be there.
This is very exciting. There's a lot there. So I can see there's a lot that's keeping you busy. The football clubs, up to 19 clubs, under 7 to under 15. The soccer schools as well, 19 schools in partnership with Kiro, and potentially looking to expand there as well. And then these 2 KPIs you've spoken about now, most recently, the youth football manual to end of September, which is just around the corner, as well as the academy, so football club with a school, and particularly boarding school. So that you're aiming for. There's so much there. We'll double click on a lot of elements here. Maybe one which I'd just love to bring it to a human level. If you have one story so far, either from your football clubs or from your soccer schools, of either a player or a coach, which is a let's call it a success story thus far from the journey. I know it's still early in the journey. We'd love to hear that and bring it more down to the ground.
Yeah, we're just 2 years old. So, I think the highest we've achieved from our coaches is one of our coaches got a B license. B license is, you start from D, you go to C, you go to B. One of our coaches got a B license now. So that's our successful stories in 2 years in terms of, coaches. But you must remember, we are not just producing coaches. We are looking at the children. So we make sure that all the coaches that we have are CAF, FIFA, SAFA accredited coaches, not all of them. And we make sure that you must be a coach, and we make sure that they are also checked properly. You must come with your police clearance, and they go through a system where we have a partnership with Wamaka for women and men against child abuse. Okay, so you have to have that because we have to protect our children also.
Huge responsibility.
No, big time. And then we hop onto the pitch, and at this point in time, it's not which player or what player can you develop. We're at the bottom side, like you say, you've got a 3-year-old daughter who plays football. I can see the training session. I'll tell you if the coach is qualified or not. That's more important because we are doing age appropriate training, long-term player development. So there are exercises that a 3-year-old can do or cannot do. And the minute you give her difficult tasks, she'll get discouraged. I don't like this game. So you got to give her something that is so fun that she even herself, when you're sitting, is rolling there with the ball and playing around with it at the backyard and playing around. Yes. So you got like in academics, when you have grade R's, the shapes, sizes, colors, that's the curriculum, right?
Yes.
So why don't we follow the same thing with football? So our manual is based on long-term player development, age appropriate training. And, we don't follow a lot in the country about that. So as she was speaking about, the Williams sisters, the Tiger Woods and all those guys, they've came through at an early age. You must start there. If you want to have excellency and to be a master in what you're doing. Nobody has played sport started at 19. No, you're too late. At 19, in fact, it's a competitive stage, but you don't have the fundamentals and the basics.
Yes.
You can't start school at grade 12, right? So it's the same with football and sports. Absolutely. So that's what we are doing. But I don't blame our country. It's just that especially football is not well aligned. But instead of complaining, that's what we are trying to help. And help the federation, help the football, help everybody to say, I'm a product of not long-term player development, but I managed to play football in Europe. I managed to play for South Africa. And here we are. Imagine if we have supported all the children, or many of us, we could have had long time head players playing for Real Madrid, Barcelona, whatever. But we still managed to have the Lucas Radebe at Leeds. We still have Masinga playing at Bari in Italy. Benny McCarthy, Steven Pienaar. In fact, Steven Pienaar was lucky because he came through the proper long-term player development through Ajax Amsterdam. That rubbed off into...
From School of Excellence.
And he came from where? The Sports School of Excellence.
Yes.
So Steven Pienaar is a proper icon of long-term player development and playing football at school and in a proper environment, learning and playing in Sports School of Excellence to play football in the Champions League. UEFA Champions League, semi-finals and all that. Played for Everton, played for Spurs. I mean, that's an example to show, and talk about academies and whatever. And like the famous IMG in Florida, what they have produced, where they are. So why can't Africa think in that space and good partnership with academics, like Curo and other schools group of schools that are doing education, but mix it with sports, especially when PE is It's a subject. It's in the curriculum. And let's develop the body right. And the world is doing it. You know, and everywhere. So that's our vision. People who understand education and sports, that you cannot separate them. And we specialize in football in particular. And football is the biggest sport in the country. I know rugby is the most effective. Yes, but football is the biggest.
Yes, yes.
We know there's no argument.
Yes.
Numbers and everything, you know.
Yes.
You can see even in the Club World Cup, you find the world there. And I love the bokeh, and I like the coach. Rassi is top. I like Sia. And we have conquered the world. But I always also make a joke and mock them to say, but you've got 12 countries playing. If you go to the World Cup, how many countries do you have? The whole world is there, you know? So, yeah, a little bit of making a joke.
Yes.
But it's reality also, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So we can do well in South Africa. If Mamelodi Sundowns can do so well in the Club World Cup, if Esperance can show that, if Wydad can show that, it means we have it in South Africa. The person who scores for Wydad is South African. Is lost. I mean, what else do you want to see? Yes. Penny's got a gold medal for winning the Champions League.
Yes. A free kick we'll never forget.
No chance.
The lead up to that final. It's a fantastic vision. And a key theme that came through there as you were talking was partnerships as well. You've already got a partnership with Curo for the 19 schools, where you've got the Pitso Mosimane soccer schools. And you mentioned some other partnerships as well, for instance, with the football clubs use school facilities. So as you go forward on this vision on all four of these areas, the football clubs, the soccer schools, the football manual, and the academy as well in the works, in the lead up to 2027. Our audience is a combination of investors and educators, and it's quite broad. So how can people contribute or be a part of this vision that you are building?
Yeah, it's been quite interesting in the journey that we have, and maybe we've not been able to attract the right people that have got sort of similar vision as us. We have been approached by people who want to be part of the story, but people who want to come and donate kit. We are not in that business. If somebody wants to donate kit as a sponsor or as a partner, we say no, because we are creating a player of tomorrow. We are not interested in take and goodbye or a tournament, no. So it's important that people who would like to partner with us, and we are looking for partners who have got sort of similar vision that we have shared. So in the next 10 years, because that's our thing, we're saying we are looking at the 7-year-old. In 10 years, they'll be 17, 18. Let's just ask that. One of the key mandate coach has not spoken about is that from our side, in 10 years, he says he wants 80% of Banyana and Bafana Bafana being these children from this program. I think it is achievable, because if you are deliberate and understand research and how even the pocket does it in schools, it is possible that these kids can come out of there. So we also understood that you can't be going to investors and saying, this is what I want to do. You've got to put the skin in the game. And I think coach has done that. We've grown this thing to where it is using our own personal money to do cash flow it, to fast track it. And, businesses, we are year 3 now, still not making it, but we can see it's a commercially viable project. It just takes time, but every year we see there is an improvement. And definitely, if there are those investors, it will make the process much quicker if you've got somebody who's interested to partner with us. So we're quite open with that. We've also seen that, as an example, the School of Excellence, a brilliant idea where kids from poor backgrounds were identified by scouts all around the country, put in the School of Excellence and paid nothing, and were sponsored by a company. It has collapsed because, in these programs, you have to also I've got Coach Pitso who's passionate. I'm a business person. My mandate is to make sure that his legacy lives on. Yes. And it cannot live on donations. Yes. We would appreciate donation, but it has to be commercially viable. Yes. So a thing like the school, the academy that we want to do, yes, if you've got a very strong Steven Pienaar or Messi, yes, they will get full scholarship. But in general, the school has to be self-sustainable. And we definitely are looking for partners of people who've got experience also in running school. We're looking for partners of people who are business minded so that we make sure that Coach Pitso's legacy lives on beyond him being even in this world. So, and even schools that are looking for have got this vision. I mean, Coach has not said it, but he was invited to Stellenbosch 2 months ago where there's rugby. I mean, it is...
You was spotted, one of our greatest rugby schools, Paul Russ, in this country.
Yes.
You was spotted scouting the different sport.
and I mean, that again goes back to, he would say, he was spotted also in schools as a footballer. Rugby is doing well because the school system of rugby is very good in terms of the competition.
It's one of the centers of excellence.
100%. So what we're trying to do is let's take a step back also as football. Let's start again with schools and improve our football in particular. And there's no need to reinvent anything. We used to do it when we were growing up. Let's go back there. And we're also saying, let's not use the excuse, this is us right now, because we're looking for partners to say we don't have facilities. Because when we were growing up, we were playing on the ground. There was no grass or whatever, but there you produce those players. I might not be a legend like Coach Pitso.
You didn't even need goals. There's only one part.
Exactly. And but that's how it went. So we quite deliberate in moving forward with our vision, regardless of the challenges we have. Yes. But as we say that, I mean, Coach Pitso also says we are just the background people delivering the vision. He says it is also important to have the right facilities, because what happens with our children is because the facility is so bad, the ground is not level. Instead of being a player that looks up, you're looking down to see, oh, am I hitting? So it is important to have the right facility. But what we're saying is at the moment, let's not make that an excuse. And look, we've had a lot of discussions with different government departments at national level, at provincial level. The wheel has to turn. We can talk and talk and talk. But if also the government wants to be serious about this, we are saying any province that wants to be a leader, we are ready to lead as a province. Remember, right now we're doing this thing privately with a private education company, but it is important. We've got a lot of children in public schools. And I think government can also help in this process. But people must walk the talk. Can't just talk, I want to. Let's do it, because
you have to see
somebody.
action.
Exactly.
Yeah, we also need corporates to be part of this. I mean, corporates should support programs, especially education through sport. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Healthy body, healthy mind.
Absolutely.
So why corporates must come to the party also, and we can help the government schools with PE. We can help them with football. Inter-houses, there's a lot to be done, and also to structure football and put it in organized programs in football.
Yes.
Because most of the corporates support football, but you support the tournament, right? We also see tournaments. We see all the tournaments in the Premier Soccer League.
Yes.
Nice. It looks good. But what about the foundation? Why don't you support the development of that tournament to be better, develop the players? So corporates should come to the party, and it's a beautiful game. It's a game played by an African child. And why we don't support football? Okay, you can tell me that the structures are not good. Yes, we have challenges in football, but also rugby had challenges before they get it now. And even now, with the success they have, they're still pulling each other about.
Cricket also has some challenges.
You understand what I'm trying to say? But I don't understand why, really. My question is corporate. I mean, come on. This is football. This is the biggest sports in the country.
Yes. So there you've heard it to our audience. You've heard it from both the coach and the MD, that we do need to pull our socks up in supporting football at a grassroots level. We won't see the results today, but you see the results in years to come.
Yeah.
That's it, 100%. So, just on my final question on the soccer schools, and it touches also on you personally. You've both lived and worked in a lot of very pressurized environments. We spoke about some of both of your career paths. And if I take the example of Ahly in particular, probably the biggest football club on this continent, 70 million supporters.
One of the biggest clubs in the world.
In the world, exactly.
You saw the stadium in US.
Yes.
Red.
Yes.
It's like, imagine, it's not in Egypt.
Yes.
It's in the US.
Like a home game, wherever they are around the world. So, those are highly, highly pressurized environments. And I think one of the key lessons that would love to learn from you is what are some of the tools or habits, that you've developed over the years to be able to cope, with pressure like this?
I think, when you are a professional and a competitor, you must enjoy pressure. In fact, you live with pressure because if you don't have pressure, then it's comfort zone, right?
Yes.
Then you sit back. Pressure is a motivator. Pressure is an instigator. Pressure is not something that, if you don't have pressure, you cannot perform at the highest level. And anything, in fact, at any level. When there's no pressure, then easy come, easy go. And you cannot sustain it.
How do you cope?
No, you have to know, like if a football player, how do you cope with pressure? It's mental, it's psychology. Those 4 factors of performance, of physical, technical, mental, which is psychological part of it, and tactic. So when you have those, you have ammunition. You've got the tools. So the pressure is
the pressure positive.
Yes, the pressure is the stage. The pressure is the scoreboard. The pressure is outside. Okay, within you, I have this. I have the tactics. I have the technique. I understand what's happening. The body's right. I've eaten right. I've trained well and consistently training, because that match is not the day. The match is the training sessions that you have done. And if you have been training at this level, at the particular level, at the highest intensity, you will be able to sustain the pressure. Do you have the tools to sustain the pressure? Yes. Where are the tools? Are those 4 factors of performance? Those are the tools you must have you must understand the subject matter. You must know at this point in time, which card must I pull or which card must I pull? So that's pressure. When Lewis Hampton is training in a band of 280, he knows that the car is capable. He knows that the driver is capable. He knows that the support structures, the engineering and everybody who supports him, everybody is on top. Yes, there's a pressure because it's competition.
I love it. I can tell already that these coaches and the students are getting life lessons beyond football that will carry them very, very far. MD, what's your response to this question?
Look, for me, how I deal with pressure at a personal level is just to try. Firstly, I must just say, I think coach's answer and my answer will never be the same, because coach's answer is that he's one of the few people in the world who is doing a job that is his passion.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So 24 hours he talks soccer.
Yes.
So for me, how I manage.
On a show every 3 days. I mean, this is very different to most of the jobs. 4 days.
But with me, every time he opens his mouth, we're talking soccer. I say, can we change the topic? Can I have time out a little bit? Can you talk about something else? So for me, really, I mix my life. Firstly, I try to be very structured in what I do. Wake up in the morning. I know this time is for me to go to the gym. I run marathons, so I train. And then I've got time to work. And then I've got time with coach, which is soccer. And then sometimes I tell him, no, it's time to keep quiet. Now we are on quiet time. So I try to really, and I've got different types of people in my life that I engage with. I mean, I've got a team also that has got ladies that play netball. So I do that. I've got runners. I've got my friends so I try and balance my life with different things. I've got my children that very much involved with. Some are grown up now.
One of whom is here in the studio with us, Lelenhle.
Our firstborn, yes, yeah. So this is how, for me, that's how I deal with the pressure thing. I just put them in different compartments, and I'm very strict in my time management.
Okay, that's wonderful. Wonderful life lessons.
Yeah. So we have a different things. So I watch basketball. That's where I take out my my pressure, and I like documentaries.
Yes.
Yeah, I like stories like the Roman Empire, where it started, how is it going?
Yes.
We were just in Rome now. I went to the Colosseum to see the real things that I know. Growing up, we used to grow up watching Hercules.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So the gladiators. So that's how I take my pressure and my stresses off. Those documentaries. I like reading. I like watching the IMG story. The Williams sisters.
Yes.
I like.
Yeah. And coach is actually very vast in general knowledge. I think if he's at the 10, I'm probably at the 4. He knows a lot of stuff.
How Gucci was formed, how McDonald's was formed. Those are stories that I love. Tom Ford.
Yes.
Just to see what's about that. You know, you can Chanel, the perfume and whatever. Lady Chanel, who's she? Where did she come from? And how they made.
You do know the players are going to give you a tough time about this, eh? When you're back in the coach, and they'll be asking you about Chanel.
I know where it comes from. I like the business side of it, how it was,
the entrepreneur.
Yes.
And for me, it's just wonderful to watch a family business in action, which I see around me here today with the three of you all here in studio. And I know that you're going very far, and we'll try to play some small role in that and in what is a wonderful vision.
Yes.
So as I come then to my concluding question, which I ask the same concluding question to all of our guests here, and that is, I'll start with you, please, MD. Please tell us about one of your favorite or most impactful teachers or educators in your life.
I've got a lady called Mrs. Reed. She was my grade 1 or sub A at the time, we'll call it. You know, because I started school when I was 5 years old, and I never went to a preschool or creche. I used to just cry for no reason in class. So, I mean, every time I think about anything, I just think about how warm she was during that time for me, and gave comfort in my lying and say, why are you crying? This child has beaten me. And I mean, there was nothing like that. I don't know. I was just scared of something. Yeah. So Mrs. Reed, you know, as we grow up, the children actually are very close family friends of ours. So we still see her. I still see her. She stays in Bloemfontein now.
And coach, the same question over to you.
Yeah, me, vast, more coaching side.
Yes.
The late Ted Dimitri also.
Yes.
Contributed to my coaching development, the principles, the philosophy of creating a player of tomorrow. He's the one who planted all those things for me, that the player has to be technically, tactically, socially, even social, meaning also academics. Remember, inside there must be a level of academics, and also a player who has to be physically properly, from nutrition to all that. So he planted, because he also come from US. So we have to be honest, the US in terms of sports development or sports business, they are the leading people. I mean, a gold medalist now in football. All the Americans are owning almost the English Premier League, and they're investing in football, which is something that they don't really have that much in the US, because it's basketball, and you know, it's that. So Ted Dimitri, and I look up to Arsene Wenger. That's one person I can listen to every day, every minute. And I had a pleasure to have breakfast with him. We met at Club World Cup. And what an opportunity for me to meet a legend and listen to him. Supposed to have tea for 20 minutes. He ended up giving me more than an hour talking football, how he developed Arsenal, how he developed those young players, Serge Fabregas, and how he modeled Arsenal from, he reduced the costs, but improved the production, now it's business. You understand? The young players, talent, identification, and being able to play UEFA Champions League and be able to build the Emirates Stadium from Highbury Stadium.
Yes.
Arsene Wenger. So when they have that statue next to him, it's not about the trophies, only one. He has built a business that we're looking at it. So he's one of my mentors to say, how do you give underprivileged children an opportunity to play football? And how do we make sure that they're technically and a little bit of academics? I mean, NBA players come from colleges and universities.
Yes.
So why we don't do that in football? Why we don't produce a product like that? Look at Michael Jordan, look at Steph Curry. Look how these people, never mind, they have contributed to sports, but look at what their legacy has done, commercial business wise.
Yes, it's extraordinary.
You can't believe it. So why we don't have that in football?
Yes. Oh, wonderful ending, Coach. The only thing that made me sad in all that you said there was when you spoke about Coach Ted Dumitru. It brought back a lot of sadness from the late 90s with that strong Sundowns side, Monde Nkosi, Chiefs fan, and that late 90s Sundowns team that won 3 in a row. It used to always break
I was part of that team. I was sitting with Ted next to him.
I recall, Coach, and then the Super Sport days as well.
Yeah.
No, this has been just a joy, absolute pleasure of a conversation. Thank you so much both for your time. And
Thank you so much for inviting us. We really appreciate it.
Humbled. Thank you.
Thank you.